Hello there, welcome to Standard Voice Television News Channel. I am Svtv Ibrahim. Here are your top stories for today. Sultan declares Friday, July 31st as Salah Day and directs Muslims not to pray at Eid ground. Resident doctors gave Nigerian government 3 weeks ultimatum. Nigerian Railway tells travelers that no marks, no train ride and entry into stations. On business, loan recovery flops as Anko Borrowers scheme grabs 240 billion naira. And on the international scene, President Buhari urged Nigerians in diaspora to play active roles in economic recovery as remittance inflow hits $25 billion. Now the news in details. The Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abakar III, has declared Friday, July 31st as Eid al-Kabir Salah Day and urged Muslims to observe prayers at Juma'ah mosques, not Eid ground. Sultan Saad Abakar, also the President General of Nigeria's Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, NECIA, made the call in a statement signed by Sambo Junaidu, the chairman of the Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, issued to journalists on Thursday in Sokoto. He said, in a view of current situation caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, he advised all district head and imams in Sokoto State to observe Eid prayers at their Jumu'at mosques. This in their respective towns and villages and not at Eid ground. Also, the Muslim community throughout the country to do same to help curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The Sultan declared Friday, July 31st as the 10th day of Zulhajj, 1441 years after Hijrah, and the day of Eid al-Kabir of the year. Governor Matawale of Zamfara State has distributed 5,667 rams and 993 cows to civil servants and groups in the state to enable them to celebrate Salah. In a statement, the Director General of the Government on Media and Publicity, Alhaji Yusuf Idris, said the gesture was part of Matawale's effort to caution the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Idris said, considering the high cost of essential commodities, especially the animals in the market, the governor found it imperative to buy and distribute the animal to civil servants and groups free of charge for the Eid al-Kabir celebration. Idris stressed that the gesture would also bring down the prices of rams and cows in the states. A colorful and impressive passing out parade of direct short service course 25th of July 2020 was held at Major Bulama Biu Parade Ground, Jaji Military Cantonment, Kaduna on the 25th of July 2020. The Chief of Defense Staff General Aijo Olani Sakin, represented by the Honorable Minister of Defense Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired as the special guest of honor at the occasion. Ibrahim Dosara with more details.
373 officers of various fields pass out of the direct short service course 25 on Saturday. After the parade, the event was moved to the commissioning hall where the officers were commissioned to the rank of lieutenant by the Minister of Defense General Bashir Magashi, who was ably represented by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin.
It's coming at a time when the Nigerian Army is engaged in various operations in response to a myriad of security challenges. These include counter-insurgency operations in the northeast and anti-banditry operation in the northwest, among others. Most of you will find yourself in various theaters in support of these operations. I am certain that your training has inculcated in you a high standard of discipline and professionalism, which you will be expected to showcase in addressing these security challenges.
From Kaduna, I am Ibrahim Dosara reporting for SVTV News.
Members of the Nigeria Association of Resident Doctors NAD has given a 3-week ultimatum to the federal government to meet their demands or face the wrath. The national president of NAD, Aliyu Sokombo, gave the ultimatum at the news conference on Saturday in Abuja. The news conference was called to read a communique issued by the association after its six-day virtual National Executive Council (NEC) meeting and scientific conference held in Gombe recently. Mr. Aliyu told the federal government and the National Assembly to investigate what was responsible for the non-enrollment of healthcare workers in the Group Life Assurance Scheme for medical workers. He also called for the probe of non-payment of death benefits to next of kin of their fallen colleagues in spite of claims of payment to insurance companies for the purpose. Mr. Sokumbo said that the association has noted the initial intervention of the House of Representatives Committee on Insurance in addressing the non-payment and non-enrollment of resident doctors in the Life Assurance Scheme, which according to him has now been abandoned. The unionist also demanded an immediate and unconditional reinstatement of suspended executive of the association at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital led by Solomon Amadi. NEC notes with dismay the continued administrative rascality and victimization of its members by the Chief Medical Director of University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, Prof. Henry Ugboma. More than 400,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus have been recorded in Nigeria, leading to the death of over 858 people, authorities announced late Sunday. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC), 555 COVID-19 cases and 2 fatalities were recorded in the country on Sunday. The new figures of infections shows a slight increase from the 438 cases reported on Saturday. According to the NCDC, out of the total of 40,535 affected persons so far, 17,374 have recovered and have been discharged after treatment in the country's 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). The NCDC, in a post on its microsite, said the new cases were reported in 18 states: Lagos 156, Kano 65, Ogun 57, Plateau 54, Oyo 53, Benue 43, FCT 30, Ondo 18, Kaduna 16, Akwa Ibom and Gombe 13 each. Others are River 12, Ekiti 9, Oshun 8, Cross Rivers 3, Borno and Edo 2 each, and Bayelsa 1. Over 250,000 people have been tested for the virus in the country of over 200 million people. The immediate past Speaker of House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has expressed the reason why he left the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) for the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). Premium Times reported Ms. Dogara's defection on Friday, after which he met with President Muhammadu Buhari. In a letter of resignation addressed to the Buguru Seaward chairman of the PDP dated July 24, 2020, Mr. Dogara mentioned a breakdown of governance in his native state of Bauchi under the administration of Governor Bala Muhammad, whom he said he helped install as a governor in 2019. The former speaker said he cannot successfully ask questions about those issues without being accused for disloyalty if he were to remain in the PDP. He urged that if he abdicates his responsibilities of telling the truth to power in Bauchi State, having done same under the administration of former Governor Isa Yuguda and Muhammad Abubakar, he said he will be the most responsible and unprincipled politician in Bauchi State. The Nigerian Railways Corporation (NRC) has declared its facilities and environs a no-max, no-entry zone in preparation for resumption for operation on July 29. Mr. Pascal Nole, manager, Abuja Kaduna Train Service, told newsmen that the operation has put measures in place to ensure passengers obeyed all COVID-19 guidelines on the trains. He said they were 85% ready for the commencement of the operation. He said, passing through their stations at Ido today, one will see a demonstration of what they intend to do in all the stations. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) campaign council in Edo State has frowned at Saturday's attack on Governor Godwin Obaseki's entourage at the Oba of Benin Palace. The chairman of the party campaign council, Chief Dan Obe, expressed his grievance while addressing journalists in Benin City on Sunday. He said the attack was a plot to eliminate Governor Obaseki's national official of PDP and some PDP governors. He also stated that the attackers' objectives was to drive fear to Governor Obaseki and the people so that they will not come out on election day. He described the attack as a political mutiny, calling on security agents to ensure that those behind the attack were arrested and prosecuted. The African Examiner reports that the PDP official had accompanied Governor Obaseki to the Oba Palace to intimate the monarch of the governor's intention to seek re-election in the upcoming election when gunshots were fired and cars smashed. Obe has accused the All Progressive Congress leadership as the sponsors of masterminding the mayhem. Meanwhile, the former national chairman of All Progressive Congress (APC), Mr. Adams Oshomole, says he regrets his mistake of supporting Mr. Godwin Obaseki for governorship in 2016. Oshomole said this on Sunday in Benin while addressing some members of the APC. He disclosed that he supported the governorship aspiration of Obaseki in 2016 to ensure the continuity of his projects and programs. The ruling People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Bauchi State has expressed shock by the defection of the immediate past Speaker, House of Representatives retired Honorable Yakubu Dogara, to the ruling party All Progressive Congress (APC). The African Examiners has previously reported about the defection of the former Speaker. Reacting to Dogara's defection, the Bauchi State PDP Public Relations Officer (PRO) Alhaji Ayanu Zainabari said that he was struck over the development. Zainabari recalled that the party gave the former speaker an automatic ticket to contest in the last election and has also stressed that the state government also carried Dogara along. He said the government carried Dogara along and the governor honored him and gave his people opportunities to be part of the government. The party has not wronged him in any way, but we want to know if the party has wronged him. Zainabari, however, declared that defection is in Dogara's character, saying that it is in his habits of changing from one party to another. In a related development, the APC spokesman in the state, Adamu Jalla, stated that the former speaker is welcome to the party. The police in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, says its fight against cultism has yielded positive results as the command and in the last 2 weeks arrested a total of 103 cultists with sophisticated weapons in parts of the state. Haruna Muhammad, the state police public relations officer (PPRO), disclosed this to newsmates in Oka, the Anambra State capital. According to him, in order to stem the tide of cultism and other nefarious activities in the state, the Command Special Anti-Corrupt Unit (SPAC) has during the period under review raided various hideouts where suspected cultists hibernate and arrested the syndicate. Meanwhile, all the suspects have voluntarily confessed. An investigation is ongoing, after which they would be brought to book. Recouping about 240 billion naira revolving credit facilities granted to small-scale farmers and processors in the federal government's Anko Boras program has been hampered by COVID-19 pandemic. The situation has been worsened by the fact that the lack of mechanization has adversely affected sustainability of farmers. The inability to recoup the loans also spurred them for further deepening of sustainable agricultural financing and food security objective as envisaged by the scheme's policy formulators. Agronomists and farm researchers also expressed concern that the scheme's continuity, as good as the objective appear, will be threatened and expansion of coverage truncated if the circular flow of the fund is interrupted by inability to recoup the fund. President of Maize Association of Nigeria, MAN, Dr. Bello Abubakar Anur, disclosed to The Guardian that his members participated in the 2019 ABT credit facilities for the first time, but unfortunately, COVID-19 has truncated the repayments of loans. And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Nigerians in the diaspora to actively participate in the country's post-COVID-19 economic recovery efforts. In a video message to commemorate this year's Diaspora Day, observed on July 25th of every year, President Buhari appealed to his compatriots whose home remittance exceeded $25 billion annually in 3 years, not to abandon their fatherland in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Over the past 3 years, Nigerians in the diaspora have brought in over $25 billion annually as home remittances to the Nigerian economy through official and non-formal channels. This is about 6.0% of our annual GDP and upward to 80% of our annual budget. This has impacted on livelihood of Nigerians in terms of education, health, housing and estate development, industry, trade and investment, agriculture and technology skills transfer. In terms of diaspora home remittance, Nigeria is rated as #1 in sub-Saharan Africa, and this is still growing, especially with the advocacy and mobilization program of the newly established Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, NIPCOM. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Sultan declares Friday, July 31st as Salah Day and directs Muslims not to pray at each ground. Resident doctors gave Nigerian government 3 weeks ultimatum. Nigerian Railway tells travelers that no marks, no train ride and entry into stations. And business, loan recovery flops as Anchor Borrowers Scheme grabs 240 billion naira. And on the international scene, President Buhari urged Nigerians in diaspora to play active roles in economic recovery as remittance inflow hits $25 billion. That has been the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs, Ibrahim Gobatanel, I am Foze Ibrahim. Have a nice day.